Hey friend, and welcome back to Kaley's Corner, where real stories meet soul deep healing. So in the last video, I shared a message called The Sacred Harvest, when everything breaks so that you can bloom. And if you watched it, you'll remember that we talked about what it looks like to stand in your harvest season and still feel confused, and still feel tired, and still feel like things are just falling apart before they ever come together. So that was all about the in-between space, where the field has been cut, but the fruit isn't gathered yet. Where God is doing the sorting for you, He's drying and preparing the underneath the surface for you. But in this video, this is actually going to be a continuation of this season, or of this series, because I feel like there's just a lot that God's been speaking to me about through this harvest season and what it might look like, and just kind of the different phases of walking through a harvest season. So this is just going to be a continuation of that. So now I want to go ahead and talk about not just focusing on resting in the field, but also receiving from it. I want to go ahead and take it nice and slow and gentle with you guys, just to see what this season might look like for you. Now, this is not just a celebration that you have to force, but this is a healing that you finally get to feel for yourself. And for me, I feel like God kind of started this whole season with me talking about how this is the year of divine do-overs. It's something that maybe you've been feeling. Maybe you've been feeling like, man, I'm sensing a lot of things are coming back around, or you're seeing a lot of things are coming back around. And seeing that things maybe you missed the opportunity a few years ago are now coming back around yet again for you to be able to have an opportunity with this time. So I feel like God has really been confirming that for me, and at the beginning of the year, He actually gave me a word that said this is the year of divine do-overs. He specifically had said what should have happened in 2020 and beyond will now come to pass in this year. All in this year. It's a year of acceleration, a year of harvest, and a year of restoration and transformation. And He didn't just say it might happen, He said it's going to happen. It will happen. And so what struck me is how kind He was about it. He often never carries shame around mistiming or all of these opportunities that maybe we missed before, the closed doors, or the paths that we just chose not to take, because our God is a God of redemption. This is not about punishment. He's not taking you back to these places or these people or these experiences as punishment. He's bringing it back around as a return so that you can be redeemed, because He is the God of redemption. He is our Redeemer. It's also about sacred realignment. I feel like He's also really realigning us in this season, and He's bringing those old promises back to life. But He's bringing it back with new strength, new structure, and new peace. So if you're worried about these things that are coming back around, obviously use discernment, take this to the Lord. I feel like every person and every situation, every person's life is different, but it could be that God is bringing these things back around into your life because they have new life in them and they have something to give you now. This is obviously for each person. It could be different. Some things that come back around could be life draining from you. So I do want you to take this back to the Lord, but some of the things that He might be bringing back into your life now in this season, if you've used discernment and you feel like there's something different about it, even though it's maybe still shaped the same way or being presented in the same box, maybe just follow it and feel it out with the Lord and see, is there some new strength to it? Is it a new structure? Is it offering you peace this time? Because it might not just be happening again in the same way that you think it is. It might actually be coming to redeem you or restore you or bring transformation in a way that nothing else would be able to bring it to you, except as something else coming from your past, coming back up and stirring those things up so that you can actually process them and then release them in a very healthy, sacred type of way. So I want you to know that it's not just happening again. You're not just getting thrown back into all of this. I feel like this is kind of a second chance. These are the do-over opportunities. And maybe this time they're coming back around, they're going to be better. But obviously use clarity and revelation and discernment and wisdom with the Lord for each individual thing. I don't think this is something that is more of like a heart desire. I think that these are things that God is presenting to you and you're noticing and you're seeing patterns and you're seeing repetition. Be cautious with things that are coming up from you in your own heart and take those back to the Lord and see if maybe they do match, and if they are something that God is realigning you with, or if it's something that he's bringing back up for you to be able to release and then move on from. You know, we don't want to just keep going around the same mountain. So I feel like this word is definitely use wisdom, use discernment, take it back to the Lord, because just because he's bringing it back around doesn't mean that it's a divine do-over in this area. It could be a divine do-over in a different area that he's trying to bring some clarity or healing or revelation for you in. So it also reminds me of Joel 2:25, because this scripture says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. So God doesn't just restore time, he also restores what time and the enemy tried to steal from you. So if you're circling back to these old dreams or old callings or old places that now feel alive again, don't just write them off as that you are regressing or that you are going backwards. It could be restoration this time. And this time it could be that you are aligned and you are right on time. And I don't want you to miss it just because of what you've thought of when you think about these things in the past and how you've experienced them in the past. I feel like God has us right where he needs us, right where he wants us. And it could be that you are re-entering the promise with deeper roots, more wisdom, more healing, more transformation, more revelation, more clarity, all of these things. You are re-entering into this area of your life with more depth and more truth, that you're going to be able to get something different from it, and that's why God's bringing it back around to you. Maybe for you, maybe it's for nourishment, to nourish you in a different way, or to bring you fruit in a different area of your life that you never received the first time around, or it wasn't the fullness that God had intended. Like, it was a portion of it, but maybe not the full blessing or the full harvest. And I feel like that's, you know, him restoring what the locust has eaten or tried to eat from you. Maybe they just got a little portion of it. So I also want to remind you that it's important to remember the truth that the harvest, or your harvest, is not conditional. It's actually a covenant from God. So when you start to see things start to shift in your life, and you start to see that there is some favor coming into your life, and you're seeing that God is bringing you some blessings, and you're starting to receive that favor and that harvest, I know I personally have a tendency to start to get nervous, and I start to wonder, am I ready? Like, can I handle this? Am I strong enough? Did I do enough to deserve this? Do I need to work harder? What if I lose it again? What if I mess it up? What if I get in the way? What if I don't know what I'm doing? All of those thoughts start to come up as soon as I start to receive it, and as soon as the favor kind of starts to shift and come back into my life. So I just want to remind you, it's not conditional. This is actually a promise from God, and he's going to do it either way. And I feel like this is what God has been talking to me and speaking to my heart, is these blessings and this harvest season, it's not a reward, and it's not from a result. It's not a result from something that I did. The harvest is not based on my perfection. It's actually born from my relationship with God and the seeds that I have sown with him out of relationship with him and out of a covenant that I have walked in, that I have chosen to walk in with God every step along the way. This is not just a performance-based result that God is giving me because I've done well enough or I am good enough. It is because what I have done walking with the Lord has now given him the opportunity to release into me and to release into my life overflow and favor that I might have been blocking before, that I might not have been ready for before. But now the divine do-over and the realignment is coming back, because now I'm able to hold it, I'm able to carry it, and he's able to release it through me now at this point, who I am today. And I feel like that just really changed everything for me. And it reminded me, I don't have to earn these things. They're blessings for a reason. They're blessings from God. It's not because of something I've done, and it's not because I've waited or endured enough pain for a long enough amount of time. It is simply because of who God is and how he loves us and how we are his children, and what he wants to give us, he's going to give us no matter what. It's not something based on what I do or what you do to be able to get it from him. And it reminds me that even if you don't hit all of the benchmarks and you're not accomplishing all that you feel like you need to accomplish, he's still going to give you these things. You know, that's why it's not a performance, because in Romans 11:29 it says the gifts and the callings from God are irrevocable. He's not going to pull them away. He's not going to just let them go or let them disappear. It's not up for debate. They are irrevocable. He's not going to take them away just because you had a rough year or a rough few months, or maybe you took a few detours. If he said it's yours, then it's yours. It's still yours. It's forever going to be yours, and it's still going to be there for you. So for all of us, take a deep breath. We're okay. The harvest that we're walking in right now does not hinge on our performance. It's going to flow from the position that we are God's child. And what he wants to give us, he is going to give us. As long as we are aligned and we are positioned right, he can then work through us. And so I feel like if this is still hard to believe, or you're still kind of wrapping your mind around this, maybe this idea will help. You're reaping from what you survived, not just what you sowed. So I used to think that the harvest was only about the seeds that I planted on purpose, and that they were very intentional, the ones that I watered and stewarded and that I planned for. But God showed me something even deeper. You're not just reaping what you sowed in strength, you're also reaping what you sowed in suffering. So this includes the seasons where all you could do was just keep going and just keep breathing. The nights where you prayed silently through your tears, the moments that you stayed obedient even when you felt forgotten, those were also seeds too. And some of the most powerful fruit in your life will grow from those in buried places. Not because you had it all together, but because you didn't quit and you remained faithful and obedient to God. And this reminds me of Galatians 6:9, which says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest, if we do not give up." And you didn't give up. Even when it felt like nothing was changing, even when the ground looked barren, even when you didn't know if you should keep going, you showed up and you kept going. And now heaven is going to start to show up for you. Your survival was not wasted. It was actually sowing a sacred seed. And now it's beginning to break ground, which brings us into something just as important, because as the fruit starts to fall into your hands, I want you to know that the blessing isn't going to break you, because you've actually grown into it and you've grown up to be able to handle it as well. And I feel like this might be one of the sweetest parts of all, is knowing that there's been a shift within you. Something in the last year or last few years or a few months, whatever it is, from the time that you first encountered the blessing that then didn't come to full fruition, and now something has changed, something has shifted, you have healed, you have transformed, you have received whatever you needed to receive, and that has now helped you be able to hold the blessing and the fruit that God has for you, because this time you're not trying to control it, you're not idolizing it, you're simply sitting there with your hands wide open saying, God, I'm ready to receive. And now it's not because you're perfect or because you're perfectly healed. It's more the fact that you know who you are, you know who God is, and you know your worth, and you know that he's going to show up this time. You're not second guessing it. You're not wavering in yourself or in God or in your faith. You know who he is. You know what he said. You know what you're expecting. You know what he said he's going to deliver to you. And you're waiting and you're ready, because you know this time it's going to show up. And I just want you to know you're not going to drop it. You're not going to drop it this time. You're not going to fumble it, because whatever happened last time, whatever it might have been, if it was you or if it was something else completely out of your control that still resulted in you not getting the full blessing, I want you to know it's not going to happen this time, because you learned from it last time. You have more wisdom this time. You have more discernment. You have more love or grace or compassion. Whatever it is that you didn't have before, you have this time. That's why God took you around the mountain again. He strengthened you and he prepared you so that this time you were ready for it. And I feel like that was also kind of what God has been telling me, is that I am ready. It's amazing when God tells you you're ready and you don't feel ready. Like, I feel like I'm still battling him, because he has kept saying, you're ready, you're more than ready, you're ready. I'm like, no, I'm not. I do not feel any more ready than I did last time this blessing came around, or last time this opportunity came around. I really don't feel any different. I still feel like I'm going to mess it up, or I'm not going to be able to hold it. And God just keeps saying, you're ready. Because this time I have expanded myself. God has stretched me, and now I can hold the weight of the joy. I can hold the weight of the fruit. I can hold the weight of the blessing without me crumbling. Because sometimes we think we're ready for a blessing or a harvest, and we're not strong enough to hold it, and we crumble underneath of it. So the blessing doesn't change, the fruit doesn't change, the harvest doesn't change, it's still there. but we have to strengthen ourselves and be ready for it so that then when we get it again, we are able to hold it and it doesn't crush us and it doesn't crumble us. And I believe that this is probably true for a lot more people than just me. You're not who you were before. And this harvest isn't going to crush you this time. It's actually meant to carry you forward, and it's going to carry you forward with ease and peace and power. And you're going to receive something from it. You're going to receive the fruit. You're going to receive the evidence that you've become the kind of person who can steward this well. And now, if all of this still doesn't feel like truth to your spirit, but it's hard to kind of feel like, how do I walk this out practically? There's one last shift that I want to invite you into. Now is the time to receive without striving. So this is actually going to be the softest invitation of all of these things that you've been walking through. Many of us know how to work. Many of us know how to toil. Many of us know how to strive and perform to hope to get our blessings or to get whatever it is that we're looking for. We don't always know how to surrender and humble ourselves and then simply receive them. So I just want you to hear this clearly. You do not have to hustle or strive or perform for what's already yours or what God has already given you and has your name on it. You're not going to have to strive for it or hustle for it or perform for it. You don't have to keep planting when the field is full. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You've already done the hard work. So now it's time for you to rest and receive with your hands open. God doesn't just want to bless you with fruit. He wants to bless you with peace while you gather the fruit. And while that fruit blesses you and nourishes you, he wants to have you have that overflow and that abundance of love and peace and joy. So this is not the time to rush. This is not the time to panic or to hustle or to strive or to perform or to overthink. It's time to just breathe deeply and say, God, I trust you. I surrender to you. And I receive this harvest, not out of fear, but from fullness of knowing who I am and knowing who you are. So I just want you to be able to let yourself enjoy what God is about to give you or what he is already giving you. Not because you earned it or performed for it, but because God is good. And I just want to go ahead and leave you with this prayer and just pray over you guys today, because I know these harvest seasons are a lot to carry and a lot to handle and a lot to walk through. So God, I thank you for preparing us, not just for our blessings, but also preparing us with the capacity to be able to hold them. Thank you that every promise delayed is now being returned in full. God, I pray that we would receive these blessings in this harvest, not with fear, but with faith. I pray that you would bless every listener with peace as they gather, rest as they receive, and joy as they realize that they are not late. They are right on time, and I pray this all in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Be blessed, y'all. Bye.